NCAA basketball totals for Monday, December 5th. We have 3 games on the card today. We also have our NBA segment out there as well. Both NCAA and the NBA, we now hold winning records, albeit slightly in the NBA. Yesterday, bad day in college hoops, but a good day in the pros. Totals, of course, is the final score of the game. So we want to see if we can, make a good prediction as to where we think the final score is going to be in comparison to what the odds makers have out there. And speaking of which, don't forget to check out SBR for all the numbers. And I was going to say odds, but that's the numbers. The websites, sportsbook reviews, sportsbooks to avoid. That's a really important list as well. All sorts of articles. So be sure to check out SBR. And let's go ahead and let's dive into some NCAA totals picks today. First one we got is Cal State Northridge. St. John's. Now I had this reversed on my sheet here because Northridge is traveling to take on St. John's. Reggie Theus versus Chris Mullen as our head coaches. So 2 former NBA players. I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense. Odds makers have it at 169. I'm going over the total here. I think it's going to be absolute track meet. I think St. John's is going to score over 90 for sure. And Cal State Northridge, they could shoot the 3 and they could shoot. So I expect for them to score. Right now you got Northridge averaging 79.9 points per game, so 80 points per game. St. John's are averaging 77. St. John's is giving up 71.4 points per game. That's not very good. But Cal State Northridge is terrible on the defensive end because of the pace they go. They're allowing over 93 points per game. That is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you look at some of their games, when they go on a neutral floor, if they've been away, I mean, they're allowing 96, 105, 95, 96, 102. I mean, they're allowing points just at a crazy rate because they're getting up and down the floor. St. John's is going to love that. It plays right into their hands. So I think we're going to see a really high scoring affair. Cal State Northridge, they could shoot the 3. They're shooting 38.5% from distance, and St. John's cannot defend it, allowing opponents to shoot 36.7%. That ranks in the bottom third of NCAA teams. But St. John's, they can shoot the 3. They're shooting 42.3%. Excuse me, no, they're not. That's overall shooting. They're from distance, they're shooting 39.5%. That ranks even better than Northridge, and Northridge is worse on the defensive side, defending beyond the arc at 41.3%. So they should be able to, knock down some shots from distance. They love to get up and down the floor. Again, St. John's is shooting 42.3% from the field. Not great, but Cal State Northridge is allowing opponents to shoot 49%. That ranks as one of the worst in all of college basketball. The pace should be there. I think they get over this total. This should be just a track meet at St. John's. All right, with Northridge, St. John's over 169. Next one up we got is Siena and Rider. That Metro Atlantic team, Metro Atlantic League is giving me some trouble right now, but I'm going to see if I can get this one today. Under the total of 149. So odds makers have it at 149. I think it's going to be lower than that. Rider, they got a few guys back. Siena's got a lot of guys back, but they haven't been playing particularly well. They've had kind of a tough schedule. But I don't think they're going to get to 149 because neither of these teams can shoot the 3 particularly well, especially Rider, and they're the home team. I don't think the pace is going to be okay, but 149, that's a lot. They're going to have to shoot really well, and I think the defense is going to be there. Right now, Siena is averaging 75.1 points per game. Rider's averaging 69 points per game, and you got Rider allowing just 68 points per game with Siena allowing 76.4. But Siena's had a tougher slate of games here. When you look, they played they played Kansas, who's pretty good, St. Bonaventure, who's pretty good. Those aren't easy, while Rider really hasn't played anyone. I mean, the best team they've played is probably Fordham, maybe Fairfield, a game in which they lost 67-76. So 149 is a lot. Siena's shooting 34% from distance. That's beyond the arc. That's 3-pointers. That's okay, but Rider's defending at 29%. That ranks actually in the top 40 in the country, which is always solid. Whenever you're in that top 50 of anything in NCAA basketball, that's good because that means you're one of the best. I mean, gosh, you can talk about 350 teams here. Rider, they're getting up 59.5 attempts per game. That pace is okay. Siena's giving up 60. But then we get into more shooting percentages. I mean, Rider, like beyond the arc, they're terrible, 22%. Again, that ranks just about dead last in all of college basketball, while Siena is allowing opponents to shoot 32.6% from distance. That's good. I don't see either of these teams really making a lot from beyond the arc, which I think would help to get over a total. So shooting percentages are subpar, and their defense is subpar on both sides of the ball. I just don't see them getting to 149. That's a lot of points. Rider's a really good rebounding team, averaging 42 per game. That ranks 19th in the country. So Siena shouldn't get a lot of second chances. Siena's the better team. They're going to Rider. I think it stays under the 149. Okay, and the last one up we got is another absolute track meet. I got this at 170. but I think it's gone up. So be sure to check SBR for the numbers. We got Stetson and Iowa, 170, and I'm going over. And I hate doing that, but this is going to be crazy. Fran McCaffrey at Iowa, I mean, they go super fast. And Stetson, they've been getting way up and down the floor. Before I get into their numbers, I mean, look at Stetson so far this season. They have allowed in losses, I mean, against pretty good teams. Well, Citadel, gosh, that was ridiculous. But they allowed 90 at Florida A&M. They allowed 81 to Central Florida, and Central Florida is a really slow team. They they just won against Florida College, a smaller team, but Iowa's going to score 90 to 100 points. So I think that's going to really help. And Stetson, they can shoot. They can shoot a little bit, and they're going to get up and down. Right now, you got Stetson. They're averaging 75 points per game. Iowa's averaging 85.6. Iowa is allowing, this is surprising, 85 points per game. But they run at such a fast pace. It's not too surprising. I mean, look at the last couple of games they had versus Memphis, Notre Dame, and Nebraska, Omaha. They all got up and down. Notre Dame arguably being the best team out of that bunch. They lost 92 to 78. I think this is going to be, that gets us at that 170. So I think Iowa's going to score well over 90. And Stetson's they're not the dredge. They're not absolutely the worst, but they're going to score. I think they're going to be able to score enough. Right now, you got Stetson. They're only shooting 41% from the floor, but they are attempting 65.6 field goals per game, which ranks 12th in the country, and they're knocking down almost 30, which is not bad. Then you got Iowa, they're getting up 64 attempts per game. That ranks 23rd. I mean, this is just a track meet. That's what it sets up. The issue is, can Stetson score at Iowa? That's the issue. Can they score at Iowa? I think they're going to be able to do it. I mean, Iowa's not a lockdown defensive team, and the pace is going to be there. I think they can put up more than 70. And I think Iowa is going to score probably around 100. So this gets us there. That's a really high total, but it's going to be a heck of a game to watch. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm back over the total here. I mean, percentage-wise, you got Iowa very good across the board. I mean, they're shooting 45%. They're shooting almost 38% from distance. So they're going to score. I'm predicting Iowa scores 100 points. So Stetson just needs to hang in there and score just over 70, which I think they can. So I'm going to go over that total. It's going to be a fun one. What the heck? Let's do it. All right, here we go. Let's break this down one more time. Sometimes you just got to pull the trigger and say, you know what, this is going to be a track meet. Let's do it. All right, you got Cal State Northridge visiting St. John's. I'm going over the 169 with the two former NBA coaches going at it. No defense, a lot of offense. Sienna Ryder, I'm going under the 149. I think it's a bit too much for two teams that cannot shoot the three-pointer. And Stetson and Iowa over the 170, and which is just going to be a frenetic pace all night. So hopefully they'll knock down enough shots. Those are our NCAA picks. Be sure to check out our NBA segment, and don't forget to check out SBR, and I wish you luck on your picks today.